Hello everyone, and on this lesson we will go through all of the ways of navigation on our scene. And to not work with the empty scene, let's go to Windows and Content Browser. And here you can find different 3D models, and we can drag them on our scene. So how we can do this is to hover our mouse on some of the objects. I think I will take these three and we will hit our middle mouse button. So it's basically you pressing on the scroll on your mouse and drag and drop it on the scene. And by default our objects in Outliner, in content browsers are really big, and we will need to scroll our mouse wheel to fly out of these objects. And here you can see them on the viewport. So this is actually the first way how we can zoom in or out, is to use our scroll. And as you can see, when we are scrolling, it scrolls with the steps, these little steps. And when you are working closely to your object, it is not the most convenient way to work. And we have one more way how to zoom. It's actually Alt plus right mouse button. This way you will have a lot more control while performing zoom operation. So the second thing we will need is to rotate our camera, and we can do this by using Alt and left mouse button. So we can zoom with Alt and right mouse button and rotate with Alt and left mouse button. And the third operation we will need is to pan our view. That's Alt and pressing middle mouse button, so basically pressing on the scroll wheel. And this is our three main navigation operations. By the way, when you are using pan operation, you just moving your camera parallel to your scene. So you have a couple of seconds right now to try these tools out. And as you can see, navigation is pretty easy. We are always using Alt key, and we are using this Alt key with a left mouse button, with a right mouse button, and with a middle mouse button. And if you, for example, lost in the infinity of 3D world, you can always press F on your keyboard, and this will frame your object. Actually, it will frame your selected object, but if you have nothing selected, it will frame every of your objects. And we can find this shortcut in the View menu on top of our viewport. Here, as you can see, we have Frame Selection and Frame All button. But only Frame Selection have a shortcut. here you can also see we have undo and redo view change, and it have a shortcuts Alt Z and Alt Y. Sometimes it can be important if you want to return your camera into some view. For example, you accidentally moved your camera, you can just move Alt Z and it will return your camera to the previous position. I can't say I use it too often, but sometimes I do. So the next thing we will need to comfortably use Maya is orthogonal views. It's when we are looking on our object at the 90-degree angle. And at the right top corner you have this kind of a box, and as you can see you can just click on the arrows near this box and it will give you these orthogonal views, but this is not the most convenient way. We can also rotate this cube with the left mouse button, and we will basically just use our rotation operation. We will just rotate around the scene. So next way of using the orthogonal views is hitting a space bar, and it will give you 4 views. And we can separately zoom or pan in these views. And if you are in orthogonal view, you will not be able to rotate your camera. Maya will not allow you to do this. You can only rotate your camera in a perspective view. And for example, you want to go to the top view, you just hover your mouse over the top view and click space. Hover mouse, hit space. And here you can see we have the names of a view. It's like hints. Maybe you will need them. But in my opinion, this is also not the most convenient way to use the orthogonal views. The third way of using it is to use them from the outliner. Here we have our cameras, as you can see, and we can drag and drop these cameras with the middle mouse button into our viewport, and this will give you the same result. Let's try it out. I will drag and drop my top view, and here we have it. So it is also not the most convenient way how to use the orthogonal views. And now let's go to the best way of using it, in my opinion. By the way, if you will hold your spacebar, you will get this menu, and this is all of the menus of the Maya. We usually need to change our task to use them, but we can actually just use a spacebar to get access to these menus. And if you will hold space and right mouse button, you will have the spy menu. And here you can see we have our left view or top view or back view. And if you will just hover your mouse over, for example, top view or back view and let go, I mean release right mouse button, you will be directed to the right view. And at first it maybe looks not so convenient, but trust me, with some practice you will be able to use these views almost blindly. And this is really fast way of using the orthogonal views. So you need to hold space and hold the right mouse button and hover over the view. And right now we have only one viewport window, but we can also divide our viewport to several parts. For example, we can use these buttons to go to the 4 views or 2 views, and this window just enabling and disabling outliner. And by the way, all of these rotate and zoom and pan operations are actually tools inside of a view menu, and we will need to go to the camera tools, and here we have tumble tool. And if we will enable this tumble tool, we will be able to rotate camera in the viewport just by using left mouse button. So it's our rotate operation. We also have a track tool, that's our pan operation. And we also have a dolly tool, that's our zoom operation. And I think it's all important things you need to know about the navigation.